Go. Okay guys, good evening, welcome to Spartans lockdown session number 9, I think, number 9. What we've got today is mostly lower body and core focused, but as we always do now, is starting off with a stability section, which is also going to sort of combine as our warm-up. So what we're going to go for is twice round. We're going to go for 45 seconds on the right leg, 45 seconds on the left leg of a single leg deadlift to knee cradle. So what you're going to go for, both hands try and touch your shoelaces on one side, and then as you stand up, bring that leg through, hug the knee into the chest, and then back out into that same rep. So it's just that working between the two, balance on one leg, reach out, stretch behind you, stand back up and bring the knee up into the chest, all on one side. 45 seconds, 3, 2, 1, off we go, let's go. Again. Yeah, looks good. So as you reach down, aim for the top of the foot. So one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make is actually reaching out in front and almost hitting the ground there, so they catch themselves and then kind of push off again. Try and keep it so that it's quite close to the body. It's down through the chin, down to the top of the shoe, back up, and then hug that knee into the chest. If you fall over, obviously like I just did, just reset and go again. Go on the same leg. We'll swap over in 10 seconds. So swap over in 10 seconds. Going in 3, 2, 1 and swap sides. So we're doing the same exercise, just on the opposite leg. Really try and lean forward into it. Try and get the hamstring doing most of the work. So as you're leaning forward, try and keep the leg almost fully straight, so you're not squatting down into it, you're not trying to get down like that. You're trying to keep the leg quite straight, so just a slight bend, and it is then fold over, both hands down. As you stand up, hug the knee into the chest, and then do the same thing out again, and just keep going. Like I said, we're going to do twice round. First round, 45 seconds on each side. Second round, we're just going to do 30 seconds on each side. Just working on your balance. Ready, and switch. So we're going back to the first side again. So whichever leg you did first, we're swapping back again. Now we're thinking about trying to get a few more reps in there. There's that touch, hug, touch. So we're not trying to fly through it, we still want control, but now we're trying to get as many good reps in as you can in that 30 seconds. We're starting to just bring that heart rate up. The other two parts of the warm-up we're also going to do twice, but we're going to do a minute of each, and then we'll switch sides for the final time on this one. So switch legs again. Sorry, I forgot, 30 seconds is up awfully quick. What we're going to come into is we're going to come into a downward facing dog, into a low press up, into a cobra. Okay, you're going to spend 1 minute through those positions there. So downward facing dog, hips up, pushing your heels down into the floor. Really trying to get that stretch down through the hamstrings, through the calves, pushing head and chest towards the floor. Low press up into cobra. It's going to be your next exercise. Ready? Switch, off we go. So it's in that downward facing dog, into that low press up, cobra. Each time, and you're just going to work between that, work at your own pace. I have tight calves, tight hamstrings, so I would spend a bit more time in downward facing dog. If you have tight lower back, tight chest, you might spend a bit more time in that cobra position. But again, just focus on whatever you feel you need the improvement on, whatever you feel you need the more time. We're not rushing through on this one, just keeping it quite smooth. Let me adjust this camera on the YouTube one. So then this is what I put into pretty much every workout I do. World's greatest stretch, it can commonly be known as, is that wide mountain climber. So stepping your foot flat onto the floor and then rotating into it. So we're going to swap over. Now off we go. So you step forward, foot goes flat on the floor, reach up, try and rotate towards that thigh. Hand down, step back, step forward on the other side, and do the same thing on the other side. So it's that switch. Switch each time. So again, we're going for 1 minute. Then we're going to do that downward facing dog to cobra for 30 seconds. There's two ways to do that world's greatest stretch as well. You can actually have back knee stays off the floor, or you can drop back knee onto the floor, whichever one you prefer. If you drop back knee on the floor and you want to try an extra challenge, you can actually come up, try and reach that back foot and rotate into it that way. Okay, so we're going into that downward facing dog again, ready, and change over. So it's into that downward facing dog, into that low press up, into that cobra. Off we go. So again, it's only going to be 30 seconds. Timer is all ready going. So into that, just again at your own pace, but just trying to move smoothly between them. So downward facing dog, rock forward, chest onto the floor, chest up. So 1, 2, 3. Those are your 3 positions. Work at your own pace as you see fit. Couple of seconds more and then we're back into that world's greatest stretch again. 3, 2, 1 and swap over. So it's into that step forward, rotate, off we go. So last 30 seconds and then we get into the fun stuff. That's good. So only 30 seconds. So you've only got a few seconds of this one left. So our first section, guys, okay, it is 4 minutes long. You get a minute's rest in between, and then we're going to do another 4 minutes. So it's only 2 rounds, but it's 4 minutes per round. Okay, guys, time. Okay, grab yourselves a drink. Any extra mobilizations you feel you need, go for it, that's fine. What I'll do is I'll quickly demo what we're going to do, and then we'll get straight into it. So your first exercise is going to be a seesaw lunge. First exercise is going to be a seesaw lunge. You're going to keep your left foot planted, your right foot steps forward into a lunge and then steps right back into a lunge. So my left foot actually stays in the same spot, my right foot does all the movement. Okay, for 1 minute, forward and back through the right. Second exercise is then your squat jack. So it's that one where you squat down, feet bounce together, come apart, bounce together, come apart. Following that, you're back into the other seesaw, so right foot stays on the same spot, step forward into that lunge, step back. Okay, step forward and back. And then the last one is just going to be high knees for 1 minute. Make sense? Of course it does, clear as mud. We're going to get going, guys, in with those seesaw lunges. So left foot stays on the one spot, step forward to the right, step back with the right. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So 1 minute, stride right into it. So step forward with the right, step back with the right. Try not to stand feet side by side. You step all the way into it, stride all the way back. So it's that full movement, big step. As you do it, try and visualize yourself stepping over something each time as well. So rather than just sort of skimming your foot along the floor, think about stepping over, step back as you go. 30 seconds in. That's good. Obviously, if you're going to fall over, put your foot down, but otherwise just try and lunge forward, lunge back. Actually looks pretty good. Wish I could do what the body coach does, you know, pick up an injury, make my wife do it for me. 10 more seconds, guys, keep going. Then we're going to those squat jacks in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, off we go. So squat jacks, feet together, feet apart, feet together. That's that. Each time. If you've got room, if you're outdoors, if you've got a bigger living room, feel free to make that a traveling version. So you start moving forward and moving back again. Or if you've limited on room, just stay on the spot. It is up to you guys. You've got 1 minute. Let's try and keep it quite springy, especially at the top. When you come up to the top, spring and back down into the next rep. So you spend very little time on straight legs, trying to stay light-footed. It's good. So in 20 seconds, we've already done left foot planted. So we're going to do right foot planted. So it's that big step with the left, big step back with the left. Each time, just trying to get knee to the floor, each time. 3, 2, one, and switch. Off we go. So big stride forward this time with the left foot. So the right foot stays on the one spot. So right foot steps forward, right foot steps back each time. Nice deep lunge. Knee touches the floor each time. One minute. At the end of this minute, we're going to go into high knees. So make sure you're driving the arms into it. Make sure the knees come above waist height. But other than that, we are going for it. So it's that high stepping, making sure those feet come right up off the floor each time. 20 seconds. We're into those high knees for 1 minute. Then you get a 1 minute rest, a 1 minute recovery. Looks good. Legs meant to be burning. You'd be glad to know, guys, at least for this one, the leg workout is pretty short. Last couple of seconds, we're going into high knees in 2, 1, off we go. Let's go. Ali, you know you're in trouble when I tell Marlon and Matt how short them shorts are and you're lunging towards the camera. Let's keep going to make sure those knees come up in front. You do Sam. 30 seconds more, guys, 30 seconds more. Keep those knees coming up. Try and pick up the speed as it goes in, okay? So a minute is a fairly long time to be doing high knees, but if you start off manageable pace, as the minute goes on, start to pick that pace up faster and faster. So you're trying to finish the last 10 seconds at an all-out sprint now. So 10 seconds, let's go for it now for the last 10 seconds, hard as you can, driving those knees, making sure they come up above waist height every single step. Looking good. 2, 1, time. Okay guys, you get a minute to rest, 1 minute, so grab yourselves a drink, grab yourselves a seat, shake out the legs. We've got the same leg circuit again, and then we're going to take things down a notch, okay, so we get to lie on the floor for most of the rest of the session. So it is a fairly, it's a fairly sedate session when we get to the core stuff, but we have to earn our way to get to lie on the floor. So we've got another round of legs, so it's that seesaw lunge, that step forward, step back, squat jacks, seesaw lunge on the other side, and then finally high knees again. 30 seconds of rest in, 30 seconds of rest to go. Make sure you get yourself ready. You can start on whichever side you want. Just make sure that you're consistent and you swap over again. 10 seconds. Let's get ourselves ready. I'm going to keep my left foot planted, right foot goes forward and back. Changing over. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So big stride forward, big stride back each time. So try and make that lunge a fairly large step. So try not to get into this habit where you're just doing tiny steps. Try and make them big stride forward, big stride back. I've not quite got the room there, but big stride back as well. So you stride backwards into that lunge as well as forwards into that lunge. So you've got plenty of range on it. Now you can let your hand rest on the front leg. So as you're doing it, you can put your hands there. Just what I don't want to see is you shove off. I don't want to see you push off that knee. Couple of people on the video, their hands pulled back as if they were burned on the Zoom side of things. And if you're wondering, yes, I was talking to the two of you. Let's keep going, guys. 10 seconds, I went to those squat jacks. So again, keep it quite springy. Going again in 3, 2, 1, off we go. So spring, squat, each time. So it's just that bounce and out again, bounce and out. Try not to waste time in that standing position. If you want to challenge the depth of your squat, see can you get your knuckles to touch the floor, okay? So if you think you're not squatting low enough, see can you get your knuckles touch the floor each time. Each time, but make sure there's a squat involved. So I don't want to see this here where you come into, you just fold over, you drop into it. So it's a full squat and the knuckles come down as well. 20 seconds, we're going to keep right foot planted. We're into that seesaw lunge. If you struggle a little bit with balance, should have said this before, but remember, train tracks, not tight ropes. So you have your feet 2 separate lines, not one line when you go into that lunge. So 3, 2, 1. Right foot planted, step forward, step back. So you'll notice in the video, my feet, 2 separate lines as I step forward and step back. Helps me with my balance. If I go into a tight rope, so 1 foot in front of the other, it's not impossible. Just makes things a little bit more difficult because it narrows that center of gravity. It narrows that base of support rather. Keep that a little bit wider, makes your balance a lot easier. You get a lot more force through the muscles. 30 seconds in, 30 seconds to go, and we're back into those high knees. And just like we did in the previous round, we're going to start at a manageable pace, so just making sure that the knees come up, and then slowly building that pace up over the full minute. 10 more seconds, then we're into the high knees, and you get a minute to rest. Ready, and high knees, off we go. So lean back, drive those knees up, get that manageable pace, and just keep going. If anybody wants to make it a little bit more challenging, rather than thinking about just bringing your knee in front, think about trying to bring your heel to your bum at the same time. So it's not heel flicks, it's that movement there where you're trying to get knee up, heel up at the same time. Start to speed up, you're about 30 seconds in. So we're starting to pick that pace up a little bit. Driving those arms, keep going. This is good. 20 seconds remaining, so again, take it up another notch. I'll let you know when you got 10 seconds to go. Good. Last 10 seconds, let's go for it. So last 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Okay guys, minute to recover. If you've got a mat or a towel that you're going to use for core work, grab it now. I'm just using a towel today. So, all we're going to look at in the first round is going to be 4 blocks. Each block is 2 exercises, and each exercise is 40 seconds long, 40. We're going to go for is leg raise and side plank. So leg raise and side plank are your 2 exercises. So the first round, really simply guys, it's just going to be legs up into the air, lower down, back up. Once you've done 40 seconds, we'll swap over into a side plank, and you can either go on your hand in the side plank position, or you can go onto your elbow in the side plank position. It is up to you which variation you choose, it doesn't really matter. So we'll start off with those leg raises in 10 seconds. So get yourselves ready. So if you need hands underneath the lower bum, or lower back or bum, that's fine. Or you want hands out to the side, but it's that control through the movement. 40 seconds of leg raise. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Let's go. So what we want on this one is lower back pressed in tight against the floor. What you don't want to do is have your lower back arch off the floor, because that's where you lose that tension. Ha! Looks good guys, keep going. Halfway through. I might angle myself slightly differently on this one. Reason being, just spotted that I have split my shorts at some stage. It's good. 5 seconds more, then we're into that side plank. Ready, change. Let's go. So it doesn't matter which side, just remember which side, because you'll do 2 on the right, 2 on the left. So you want a straight line through the body. I don't want to see the body hanging down. I also don't want to see you pushing your hips up into the air. Just want a straight line through the body all the way up. You can do that either on the hand like I'm doing. You want to make it more challenging, lift your arm up. You want another challenge, lift that leg up. Just affects that balance. Makes things a little bit more challenging. Going in 10 seconds, we're back into those leg raises. This time I want you to lower right leg, bring it up, then left leg, bring it back up. And change, off we go. So, this time one leg stays still, other leg moves down and up. That's individual. In the next round, So not this round, in the next round, I want it to be both legs moving at the same time. But for now, it's one moves, then the other. But you got your side plank before that. 10 more seconds of this. Remember, keep lower back tight in against the floor. It should stay pinned against the floor all the way. Change it over in 3, 2, 1, and swap, off we go. So into that side plank. So if you need an easier version, what you can do is you can bend the legs right in behind you. You guys on the Zoom video can't really see that. Bend the legs right in behind you and lift the hips from there. So you still got a straight line through the body, still challenging the core. It's just a little bit easier than doing the full length of the body. Just shortens that lever, and as it shortens that lever, it makes things that little bit easier. Looks good though. You got 10 more seconds. The next leg raise, like I said, you're moving both legs at the same time. So one up, one down. That's scissor type motion. Change, let's go. So 40 seconds. So both legs moving. One comes up while the other comes down. Try and keep them off the floor. Don't let your foot rest on the floor at the bottom. So under tension. Keep that lower back tight against the floor. If you can't go to the floor, just shorten the range. So don't bring your legs all the way down. So if you can't do that without your lower back arching off the floor, just shorten the range of motion. We are into our penultimate round of side plank, so we should be changing sides and switch. So we're onto the other side. So again, you can go full length, or if you want that slightly easier version, you come into the elbow, you tuck the feet behind, you create that straight line from the knees instead. Obviously, if you went for a more challenging version on your other side, try and match the versions. Don't mix and match so you have an easy one on the left and a hard one on the right. Try your best to do the more challenging one. We're into our final round of leg raise. I want you guys to choose what variation you want to do. It is up to you which one you choose. Ready and switch. Off we go, guys. Let's go. So we're into that switch. So we're into that leg raise. So again, whichever variation you want to do. I would just do the top version, the shortest range, because that's where I would tend to be weakest. So I'm just going to spend a bit more time on that one. But again, if you guys find that you're weaker towards the bottom, maybe you want to do a shorter range. You want to work at the bottom. Again, it doesn't matter which variation you choose, as long as you're working for 40 seconds. And then you've got your final side plank. Then we get a minute rest, okay? And then we change on to something, a completely different pairing. Ready and switch. Final side plank, guys, final side plank. And then we're changing on to a completely different pairing. Still on the core, that looks good. Looks really good. So remember the options that we had for making it more challenging is essentially just throw your balance off, make your center of gravity higher. And to do that, you lift a hand, you lift an arm, you make things that bit more challenging. You raise your center of gravity, the chance to wobble is greater, therefore the squeeze you get through that exercise is greater. You got 7 seconds remaining, 7 seconds. Just looking at the guys on the Zoom video here, guys, they're looking pretty good, pretty strong. Time, you get a minute to recover, Okay guys, so there's still a little bit of variation in the next one, but not nearly as much. What we're going for this time is going to be a bicycle crunch and a shoulder tap. Bicycle crunch and a shoulder tap. So, for anybody that's not sure what the bicycle crunch is, what we're looking at is going to be from that base position, try and get elbow to meet opposite knee, and then vice versa. So you do the same thing on the other side. So it's that turn of the shoulders and bringing the knee in. Your shoulder taps, you're going to bring yourself into a press up position. You're going to lift one hand, you're going to tap the opposite shoulder. Easy, nothing to it. So we still got another 20 seconds to rest before we start that bicycle crunch. So we're going to go in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Off we go, let's go. So into that bicycle crunch. Now, remember guys that we've not got anybody counting score. It's only a personal thing on this one. Make sure it's good quality. So try and get elbow to meet the inside of the knee. Actually make physical contact if possible. If not, if you can't make contact, it doesn't matter. It may just be that the way you're built, just try and get them to as close as possible. And make sure it's good quality movement throughout. It's only 40 seconds, you're already over halfway through. You're then into those shoulder taps. The easier, the wider your feet are, the easier the shoulder taps will be. So if you want to make them a bit more challenging, move your feet narrower and narrower. Ready? Change, let's go. So we're into those shoulder taps. So again, if you want to make that more challenging, feet much wider. Or sorry, you want to make it easier, feet much wider, more challenging, feet together. Because you want to try and keep your body steady. Try not to wobble from side to side. So you will move your body from side to side a bit, but the more stable you can keep yourself, the more you feel that through the core. So really try and challenge that position each time. It's good. Let's just bring those hips down a touch. Perfect. Looks good though, guys. Looks really good. And back to the bicycle crunch. This time, what I want you to do, guys, every rep, I want you to try and squeeze together for half a second. Squeeze together, half a second each time. Now when I say squeeze together, I don't just mean touch and hold it there. I mean squeeze them together as hard as you can. So elbow to knee, squeeze for half a second. Elbow to knee, squeeze for half a second. So there is several squeezes. There's 2 squeezes for every rep. One on the right, one on the left. So you're trying to get that maximal contraction between the ribs on one side and the hips on the other, and then vice versa, ribs on one side, hips on the other. So you get that cross connection. 20 seconds in, 20 to go of the second round. Looks good, guys, looks really good. Keep moving. And switch. So we're back into that shoulder tap, let's go. Again, the narrower the feet, the more challenging it is. If you've got your feet together and you want to take it to the next step, try lifting one foot off the floor. Alternatively, just try and hold that balance for a little bit longer. So instead of going shoulder and floor, you go shoulder, hip, floor. Hold yourself as steady as you can. Shoulder, hip, floor. Shoulder, hip, floor. Each time. And change. So back to regular bicycle crunch. Back to regular bicycle crunch. Let's go. Getting that squeeze in and across. Looks good. So slightly easier version, guys, is to put knee or foot on the floor in between each rep. So rather than stretching out and keeping your foot off the floor, like so, you stretch out, let your foot rest on the floor, and then do the same thing on the opposite side. So you get miniature rest in each set. And change, back to those shoulder taps, shoulder taps. So 40 seconds is not a long round at all. 40 seconds is not a long round at all. So it's third round. Keeping yourself as stable as possible. Nice, Ian. So if you want to do the shoulder and hip, actually, do you know what? You're handling that all right. You can stick with that variation. I was going to say to put a foot back on the floor while you do it, but you're not too unstable. But the more stable you can keep your body, the better the squeeze you'll feel through the core. There are several different variations. You choose the right one for you. We're into our final level of bicycle crunch, guys. Going again in 2, 1, let's go. So last round of bicycle crunch, and then one more round of shoulder taps. And that's the end of this block. So you got one more round of each exercise, so that's 1 minute and 20 seconds left in total, 40 seconds of each. Looks good. Good, really getting that squeeze in. So remember, like I said, nobody's counting. The only thing in the YouTube video, if anybody's gone to watch them, is just me standing around not doing the exercises. Doesn't matter how many you do, whether you have got the ability to do 40 good reps or 50 good reps in that 40 seconds, or whether you get 20 good reps. I don't care, as long as it's good reps. Ready? Change. Let's go. So last round, shoulder taps. Another one again, if you want to just make it a little bit more challenging, but without bringing your feet together, you can go shoulder, hip, stretch. Shoulder, hip, stretch. Each time. So you alternate between those 3 positions. So it goes shoulder, hip, full stretch. Shoulder, hip, full stretch. And alternate sides. And the goal is to try to not move your body from side to side. So if you imagine, guys, somebody is standing with their knee against your hip, you've got nowhere to move, can you still do the exercise? If you have to shift your hip out to the side, you're maybe not bracing your core as much as you could. Time. Okay, guys, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. So we're into our final block of core work. So this last one, guys, okay, you've got sit-ups. I'm not going to go through the demos for them because most people will know what they are and I can demo them as we go. But we're going to demo the other exercise. We're going to do parachutes. Now there's 3 variations that you can do. And if you've got the room, I want you to try the parachute rolls. If you don't have the room, we'll just try one of the other 2. So the parachute rolls, guys, you're going to have your belly on the floor and that's it. Belly on the floor, head and chest come up, legs come up, and then I want you to try to roll over onto your back and back onto your belly. It's not the most graceful move in the world, but I guarantee if you do it, you'll be feeling your core working hard. So again, belly is the only thing touching the floor. From there, I'm going to try and get onto my back. Nothing else touches the floor. I'm onto my back. The middle of my back is the only thing touching the floor, and I've got to get back onto my belly. Working between the 2. If you've got the room, go for it. If you don't have the room, we're just going to go for parachute squeezes. So it's just everything comes up, back down. Or you just go for that static hold and you try and hold that position for 40 seconds. Those are your 3 variations, but we're going to start off with regular sit-ups, guys. We're going to start off with regular sit-ups. Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, off we go. Regular sit-ups. So feet on the floor, knees bent, full sit-up. Like I say, final block. That's good. Right. I'm going to throw out a few suggestions. You guys on the Zoom video, if you want to do a different variation on the sit-ups, you can do. But I'll throw out different suggestions in the 2nd, 3rd and 4th rounds. So we're going to swap into those parachutes in 7 seconds. So we had the 3 variations. The static one where you just hold, the pulse where you're up and down, and the parachute roll. And change, let's go. So it's either, if you've got the room, go for the parachute roll. If you don't worry, you'll get most out of it. Now the temptation when you do that parachute roll is to let your tricep or your thigh or even your foot touch the floor to give you a little nudge across. I don't want anything else touching the floor. Good, Chuggy, try to take momentum out of it, so once you get to your back, stop and then try to roll on and roll back onto your belly. It's fine if you're out in the garden, you can do over and over again, but make sure there's a pause, because it's the generating that momentum is the challenge a bit. Ready? Back into sit-ups. For this variation, guys, okay, what I want you to try is go into those soles of the feet together, reach up, and as you come up, touch the ground in front of your toes each time, and back down. This is good. So the guys that have tried the parachute rolls, you can see how difficult it is. Try not to use your tricep or your thigh or your foot just to nudge yourself across. Even when you're almost there, just try and keep it from that twist through the body, not from the arms. So 20 more seconds. No, not 20 more seconds. What am I saying? Change, guys. We're back into those parachutes. Back into those parachutes. Off we go. Oh, that's what. Nice work. So it's getting that ability to twist through the hips, getting that ability to twist through the body. You tell me, guys, what version of rugby is it helpful for you to be able to twist through the upper body and through the in both directions? I'm pretty sure all of them. Ready? Back to sit-ups, guys. This time another variation you could try. Legs elevated crunches. So legs up in the air, just hands into that crunch position. And that's it. Just push the sternum towards the sky, towards the ceiling, and control back down. So again, we're not particularly worried about how many reps. We're worried about that contraction. We want to get that maximum contraction between the ribs and the hips. So it's that squeeze and release. That squeeze and release each time. So we're already flying through this. We've only got a few seconds. We're back to those parachutes in 3, 2, 1, off we go. Now again, if you're not doing the rolls, that's fine. If you don't have the room, just do the static version or the pulses. Even if you do have the room or you're really struggling with it, just go to one of the other variations. Looks really good though. Halfway through this set. Don't know whether any of you guys have done a skydive, but supposedly that's your basic skydive position. You're falling through the air. I'm sure at the very least you'll have seen a video of somebody doing one. We're into our final round of each, so sit-ups, off we go. Let's go. So into your final round of sit-ups. Again, any variation you want. This one I'm going to go into legs straight. Again, one that I find really difficult. So legs stay on the floor, but they stay straight throughout the movement. So I'm trying to just get that contraction through my core. So slowly rolling my way up off the floor and slowly rolling my way back down. So it's that shortening between the ribs and the hips. What we're looking at. 10 more seconds and you're into your last set of parachutes, and then that ends the core section. Changing in. Time, off we go, let's go. So into those final round of parachutes, whether you do the rolls that we did before, or whether you do the static version, we just try and hold yourself up off the floor. You know, no one's allowed out of the house, you know, so feel free to imagine yourself going for an actual skydive. Although, to be fair, if you've seen this view as you're in this position from a skydive, I think you're in trouble. 10 more seconds. Hold on to the very end, fin that squeeze through the lower back. You'll have a minute to rest before our final part of the session. Time. Okay guys, so if you've got a low step or stairs or anything nearby, you can use those to help you out in this part. If you don't, you don't need it. It's just something you can use to your advantage. What we're going to do is a little buyout. What I want you guys to do, you've got to do 100, so that's 1 and 2 zeros. So 100 squats and 100 calf raise, okay? So 100 squats and 100 calf raise. Now you can structure that however you want. So if you want to do all 100 squats, all 100 calf raise, done, that's fine. What you can do 50 squats, 50 calf raise, 50 squats, 50 calf raise, fine. You can do 10 rounds of 10, you can do 25 of one, 15 of the other, it doesn't matter, as long as you end up with 100 of each and don't stop the whole way through. So if you're getting tired of the squats, you swap to the calf raise. Getting tired of the calf raise, swap back to the squats, but keep moving till you get both things done. Once you've done with that, job done. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Let's go. So into those 100 squats, I'm just going to use the steps here just to make sure I get a good bit of depth. Sitting down into it. So 100 reps, sitting down, stand back up. My legs get tired, so after say 10 reps, I don't want to absolutely completely knacker myself. I want to make sure I've got some energy for the second and third set. Just going to swap over. I'm going to use the step. I'm just coming into my calf raises on the step. If you don't have a step, just find something to balance against. You can do just calf raises just on the floor. Absolutely fine. Again, you can change variations a little bit, okay? So to keep it fresh, you can go heels out, you can go heels in, toes out. You can even combine the two moves if you want. So if you remember, I want to say last Wednesday, it might have been last Monday, where we did the sumo squat to a calf raise. So we did that squat, and as you come up, calf raise at the top. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. So you can add them up together. It is up to you how you structure it, as long as you end up with 100 of each. Once you've done 100 of each, you're done. But again, I want to focus on good quality. So remember, guys on the Zoom look pretty good. Seeing as well, some guys going for the knuckles on the floor as well, testing that depth, I like that. But the key thing is that we're keeping it a squat, okay? So what I don't want to see is that it becomes this, where we just get down by dropping the shoulders, we drop the legs into it, we drop the thighs into it, into that squat. Oh, Ian going for one, a perfectly valid option, but it's not one I would choose myself. where you're coming into that seated squat and then into a calf raise in that low position. So drop it down into the calf raise and back down in that position. Fairly intense version, calves in a really shortened position. So if you're prone to calf cramps, it's possibly not the one for you. But it's a really challenging version. If you've got a stair or a step, you can do the same thing. You drop into that low position, you drop your hips. Just move the baby coats. You drop your hips into it and you just come into that calf raise as an option. A really, really intense squeeze through it, which you can do. Make sure you keep note till you get to 100. However you structure it. Good. That's really nice depth on those. So where's Tom gone? Have you killed him? Is he lying on the floor? Oh, he's still there. Fine. I thought he'd run off on me. Actually, it wasn't D with you at the start of the session. Where'd he go? That's it, guys. Keep working. Okay, so again, we're working our way to 100 of each. Once you've done 100 of each, job done. Okay, job done. So, while these guys are finishing off, okay, so don't worry, I'm ending the YouTube video, but that does not mean that we're done. So if you're doing this on YouTube and thinking all the guys on Zoom are done, they're not done yet. I don't think. No, nobody's done yet. So in the video here, guys, okay, as usual, any feedback, let me know. So NGPT at Permanent Performance on Facebook, Neil Gallagher _coach on Instagram, or just contact your captain, contact anybody involved in the club and get some feedback to me, and I'll try and take it on board for the next session. I will see you guys on Wednesday, and special guest, I believe Miguel is joining us on Wednesday. It'll be good to see him join us all the way from Canada. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys on Wednesday. Well done tonight.